Hello, everybody. Today we are going to take a look at frequency and how to use it. So I'll give an example of the grammar and how to create the sentence and add in frequency. So what is frequency and why do we use it? The definition of frequency, the rate at which something occurs or is repeated over a particular period of time or in a given sample. So what does this mean? Um, with frequency, it shows the audience how often something happens, how often an action happens, or how often a state of mind may occur. So some examples, an example would be um, John is always happy. Okay. Before I explain this, um, a quick refresher of sentence structure. We have John, that is going to be our subject, is, which is going to be the verb be, always is going to be our adverb of frequency, and here we have happy is our adjective. Okay, so I'm going to take away the adverb of frequency for a second, because as we know, in past videos, we've talked about a common sentence structure, subject, the verb be, and then we can have an adjective, the main verb, we can have a noun here, but for the adverbs of frequency, we're only going to focus on adjectives and main verbs. The reason why is adverbs modify um, our adjective or verb. Okay, so John is happy. Um, so with an adverb of frequency, we're modifying the word happy. And when we modify it, we're showing how often John is happy. Okay. In this case, the word always is considered to be an indefinite adverb of frequency. Okay. And what this means is it is not definitive. So, for example, if I am at a farm and there are chickens on the farm, something indefinite, I would say, is there are there are many chickens on the farm. Okay. Something that is rather definitive would be there are 10 chickens on the farm. When I say 10 chickens, that is definitive. That is specific, precise, exact. Okay. Indefinite or is going to be there are many chickens. The word many, it's a countable number, right? But opposed to counting it, I use the word many to say to express that there is a large number of chickens on the farm. And the word many could change depending on the speaker, right? Some people may consider many chickens to be 100. Some people may consider it to be 50 or 10, right? Now going back to adverbs of frequency, when I say it is indefinite, these words are subjective, okay? Which means it changes based off of the speaker. It is not scientific. It is not objective. It changes based off of my opinion, right? So when I take this sentence and I say John is always happy, this is my opinion. It's not something that can be measured exactly, right? When I see John, he is always happy. That's my opinion. Whereas another person may know John. John is always upset. That could be a possibility as well, right? Depending on when I see John, or maybe this person sees John in the morning when he wakes up. John is always upset. The word always does represent 100%, but this is not exactly measurable, right? This gives us an idea of how often something happens. Now, these are the words that are commonly used to show frequency, and these percentages are not exact. Okay, it is not specific like the number 10, like 10 chickens. The closest to be exact would be always and never at 100 and 0% respectively. Everything else in between is going to be it's going to be my opinion of what I think is considered to be these words. So the words here, we have always, constantly, frequently, often, generally, normally, regularly, occasionally, sometimes, usually, rarely, never. Now, these percentages are my opinion. Somebody else can say, well, frequently could mean 75%. It probably is closer to that. There's no exact number. There's no absolute. So if I said John is frequently late to work, okay, that just means it happens a lot, more than 50%, more than half the time, okay? So again, these percentages, my opinion, if you use these words, I would say the percentages are pretty close to accurate. If you said rarely when you mean a lot, then of course there is a large discrepancy there. But don't worry about being exact, because when we get to definitive adverbs of frequency, I'll show you how to use those and how to be more precise and exact. Okay. So going back to our sentence here, I'm just going to take the same structure: subject, the verb be, adjective, and main verb. Okay. And you will see it here. Subject, be, adjective, main verb. So this is an example. John is happy. I took out the adverb of frequency. This just shows John is happy currently. John is happy. Of course, that state could end. Again, adverbs of frequency, they're going to show how often John is happy, or what we think as far as how frequently. John is walking. The ing, again, refresher, shows that it is happening right now. Present continuous, it can continue into the future, but currently we know John is walking. We can modify that and say, and use the word always, constantly, any of these adverbs of frequency that we had, and we're going to put the adverb of frequency right after the verb be and before our adjective or our main verb. So John is late to school. John is walking. John is walking. I am eating. Verb, walking is a verb. Eating is a verb. John is our subject. I is our subject. Is and am, respectively, the verb be. And then we add in our adverb of frequency right after. So John is walking. How often? That's what we want to answer or express. John is never walking. I am always eating. It's an expression, right? This gives the audience an idea that it doesn't mean I'm eating 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I could mean I could say this, and I can say this, and my understanding, or what I hope the audience, the person I am speaking to, understands or comprehends, is that I eat a lot. like more than a lot. I am always eating, you know. um, it's not exact or definitive, because if it was, it would mean I am eating 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That is an example of a definitive adverb of frequency. I'll explain that and give you the sentence structure shortly here in the video. So patience, please. 1 second. Let's see. So as you guys can see, we have the subject, the verb be, the adverb of frequency, and then an adjective or a main verb in the present continuous tense with the ing to complete the sentence. Okay, and we can, of course, change the adverb of frequency to show how often, or how often, how frequently, and also the adjective and the main verb depending on what we're trying to state. Another way, another formula, or another way to create sentences showing frequency, very similar, but we're not going to use the verb be. We're going to use the subject, adverb of frequency, and a main verb. And I'll sort of explain the difference between the two. Here I have a subject, I, adverb of frequency, always, and then a main verb, eat. No ing here because it's not present continuous. I am not using the verb be, so we do not add the ing. I always eat. I regularly walk. The difference between the two, in this case, we have something that shows a regular or common pattern. So I always eat, I can add at 3 p.m. And this can mean I always eat at 3 p.m. on a regular basis, every day, every week. I regularly walk on Mondays. Okay, so this again, it shows a routine, a pattern. It's not an action that is happening right now or continuously. And so I don't necessarily have to put on Mondays, but I can just complete the sentence like that. And it is an assumption that I walk regularly with a routine. Okay, I regularly walk. Again, adverb of frequency, indefinite. And so we're using indefinite words always, regularly, constantly, frequently, normally, rarely. And these, again, we know, I just want to point out, these are regular adjectives, words like constant, frequent, in general, normal, regular. And we modify these words and turn them into adverbs by adding an ly. It's not every adjective you can change and add an ly, but happy, we remove the y and then add a ly, happily. And we can use these words to modify an adjective or a verb. But yeah, questions, things like that, leave them in the comments. Contact me, message me. I'll do my best. More than happy to try and help you guys out, of course, to learn the language, right? And so, and then the last thing I want to show is definitive adjectives of frequency. Now, similar to the 10 chickens, it's something that is very specific, and it's definite, right? And so it's factual. It is not my opinion. And it's objective. And so this is more factual. Now, what you'll see here is I have, I'm going to use, the same pattern, subject, be, main verb or adjective, subject or main verb. Now, the difference here is the adverb of frequency is going to come at the end, okay? And examples of adverbs of frequency: every day, which means daily, every week, weekly, every month, every year. Other examples: every other day, every 2 hours, every other week, every other month, every 4 days, every second, every weekend, right? And when we have these very specific days or times, every Saturday, right? We put these adverb of frequency, these adverbs at the end of the sentence. So John walks, adverb of frequency here, every week. Main verb with no be has no ing, right? Whereas if I go here and I put in the verb be, John, it needs to be present continuous with the ing. John is walking every week. Okay. So adverb of frequency at the end. This shows how frequently every week. Okay. So hopefully this video helps you guys out understand how to use the adverbs of frequency a little bit. If you guys would like, please leave comments, reviews. Let me know what you guys would like to see in future videos. I'll try and make as many as possible with very different things, grammar, listening, reading, writing, things like that to help you guys out. Okay, so hopefully you guys found this video helpful. I'll make another one shortly here. Thank you.